What is going on, YouTube? It's Tyler from Mission VR, where it's my mission to bring you guys good quality VR content. So today, we are going to be reviewing Warhammer Age of Sigmar Tempest Fall. This game currently is only available on the PC VR, but it is going to be coming to Oculus Quest later this year. And to be honest, it's one of those games that I think is worth your time if you're into VR adventure games. There was a lot of fun to be had in this title, there's no doubt about it. We're going to hop into all that good stuff. Make sure you guys do drop a like and subscribe to my channel. I'm also starting a weekly stream, Friday Night Fights. I will be playing Population 1 on Friday nights. You guys can tune into that. Join my Discord server for more information there. But without further ado, let's go ahead and hop on into this video. Alright guys, so I always like to start with content as its most important thing. What are you actually getting in this game if you purchase it? The purchase price right now is $29.99, a little bit steep, but there is some good content in this game, so it's kind of one of those ones where I'm maybe willing to look past that price. The game's not without its flaws, but on the content side of things, I think it does a decent job. You're looking at about an 8 to 10 hour campaign. Could be a little less than that if you really fly through things, but I think 8 hours is a pretty good average on this. And as I would like to see more for $29.99, I think it'd be a much fair price at $24.99. I still enjoyed my playthrough of this game, at least on the content side of things. The story's nothing special, but it keeps you engaged in the action, no doubt about it. I think my favorite thing about the story was it was simple enough, but it allowed me to feel like I was this character and I had an objective that I was pushing after, and I think that was enough of the universe. Now, if you're not a Warhammer fan, it does not matter. You will not need to know any Warhammer lore to understand this game. They made it pretty straightforward, so that is another good thing. Content-wise, as well as the weapons, you get the 3 weapons you're going to have throughout the whole game right out of the gate. Only as you upgrade them, their appearance changes and their abilities change. So not too shabby here. I actually didn't mind this system. Normally I'm not somebody who enjoys a system like this, but I thought there was enough upgrades and enough variability in the gameplay with the actual weapons themselves that it definitely allowed me to feel like I was enjoying my grind towards getting fully upgraded weapons. And it wasn't even until I got to the marsh section later in the game that I really had unlocked some of the potential of some of these weapons and really utilizing them to become a really beast mode type of mage, right? But where this game, I think, fell a little bit short on the content side of things, I did find it to be a little bit easy. And they did release like a nightmare mode recently, so that is definitely something that I think if you're looking for a challenge, I'd just start on that. Only because I really didn't die. I didn't die really at all in this game, and you know what? There were some times that I shouldn't say I did die once, but it wasn't because of the game. It was my fault what I was doing. So again, it was a little bit easy, so that's kind of a downer. But I thought one of the really big strengths of the content in this game was just the level design. I definitely enjoyed the way I played through this game, enjoying the feeling of like I was on a journey, and I think that was an important aspect of the feels in this game. Right? You felt like you were on a journey the whole time you were playing it. I remembered back to whenever I was going through this, the Mage's College. I can't remember what it was called in the game, but that was like a really fun experience for me. And then the catacombs and all this stuff. There were some different environments that like gave you that feeling of really like you were adventuring and you were on a mission. And I think that this game did a great job at that. Now, if you go on Steam and you look at the reviews, it's going to say mixed. This game did not, it wasn't perfect, there's no doubt about it. It definitely had some issues, especially in the spellcasting department. I thought it was a little janky here. When you're trying to get your spells to get casted, you try to raise especially the ones where you have to raise your weapon straight up in the air. Those ones were definitely hard to cast at points, where, especially when I was in the heat of combat, I'm trying to get it off, and you can see me, I'm thrusting my weapon upwards and it's not casting. But overall, was it game breaking? Absolutely not. I didn't find this to be a major issue in the game as far as the content goes, but I did enjoy I enjoyed it when it worked, and it worked about 65-75% of the time flawlessly, and then the other times I had to kind of monkey with it a little bit. So with that being said, that's one of the issues I had with that portion of it. This game was developed from the ground up for VR, and there's no doubt about it. Everything is pretty, interactable in this game. Everything from the doors, you actually have to push them open. It's not just hitting levers. You have to actually pull the levers. You pull chain. You climb up ropes. I enjoy that. I think it's the little things like that help keep the immersion in VR games, and developers to take the time to do that stuff when you're climbing walls. And there is ability to skip it if you're somebody who gets motion sickness, but I definitely highly recommend keeping all that stuff on because it just adds to the length of the gameplay. It adds to the immersion of the gameplay. And overall, I thought that was done really well. As far as the content goes, I think the content is kind of strong in this game. You know, as far as how much you're actually getting, I wish the price would be a little bit lower for it, but it is a fun game. I enjoyed my playthrough, like I said. The only other area that I think maybe could have used a little bit of work was the enemy variety. The Night Haunt, really, they come in, there's like 5 or 6 different Night Haunt in the game, but they really don't feel that different because they look the models of them look pretty similar, and I think that was a little bit of a misstep on their part. Even though that some of them have a different attack patterns, it really is not that big of a deal. You know, they don't feel that much different. You know, a couple model changes here and there. There was some new enemies whenever I got to the marsh area, which was definitely a nice, refreshing take on stuff. But, you know, enemy variety definitely could use a little bit of work here. It's something that takes you out of the game. No, I mean, you're playing through an 8 to 10 hour campaign here, and then you're probably done with this game. You know, maybe with a rerun if you really enjoy the Warhammer universe. I didn't think that was too bad, but you know, as far as that goes, that's an area where the content may have been lacking just slightly. Overall, I do think that there is a decent amount of content in this game. Like I said, $24.99. If you can get this game at $24.99, I think it's absolutely worth the buy. $29.99 is just a bit steep, but overall still solid in the content section.
Lapsed by no accident. I need to find another way. Are blocked. There might be a way underground. Night Haunts have no place where servants of Sigmar are honored.
So when it comes to our overall sound design here, I really enjoyed the soundtrack. I thought that kept me really engaged throughout the game. I'm a big soundtrack guy. I think it's very underrated, especially in a VR game. The soundtrack is amazing. It's one of the parts of a game that's really important, and I think the soundtrack in this game did a pretty good job of changing with the environments I was in, changing with the battle I was in. You know, it did a good job. I really enjoyed the soundtrack, kept me engaged in the game. As far as the actual sounds of me playing the game, I thought they were pretty decent. I mean, I can't complain all that much. I wouldn't say it was off the world, crazy good. I'd never heard a sound design like that in my life before. The slashing sounds and the hitting sounds were pretty basic. The casting magic sounds, again, maybe could have used a little bit of work there. The character voices I actually thought were really well done in this game, which is something that I haven't seen in a VR game. I thought the character voices were great, kept me engaged in the story, really kept me engaged. My character, some of the things he said, I actually enjoyed, which is kind of, something that, give or take with a VR game, because you're playing as the character and he's speaking and you're not speaking, right? It could be immersion breaking. It wasn't in this game. I thought my character said some cool stuff, it add a little lore tidbits that were cool. So definitely a plus side on the sound design here. I think overall 7 out of 10 on that. Did a pretty good job and nothing major to complain about. So graphically, what did Warhammer look like when you actually have the headset on? On screen it looks pretty good, but what about inside the headset? This is an area that I kind of is a love-hate area for this game. Some of the environments in this game, absolutely fantastic, and that's why I actually showcased a little bit of them in the intro, because there was just some moments where I was like, wow, I really feel like I'm part of this world, right? Some just really great environments, really great builds there. And then there was also some environments that were not so good. Not as many of them. There's definitely much better environments than there was not good environments. But there's still a little bit of that, and that has to be talked about. On top of that, I think the Night Haunt looked a little cartoony. It fit the overall aesthetic of the game, but you could definitely see, the waving of the bottom halves of them and the phantom likeness. It was just slightly. There was definitely a little bit of frame drops, inside the headset looking at it. It definitely wasn't enough to break immersion. There's no doubt about it. But I think that I've played other VR games that have a little bit smoother graphics on that. So again, I have to say love-hate here because, again, the weapon graphics in your hands, fantastic. I mean, the little details on them, all great. Little details on the torch, even on your gloves are really well done. I really enjoyed that. The shadows are well done in this game, and then there's some environments that are really, really cool in this game and lit really well, and just the overall aesthetic. And then there's some environments that are really not done well, and I'll list a couple of them. There was a sewer environment that was pretty crappy, and then when you're actually at the top of the college, you can actually look out and you can see like broken parts of the map that aren't rendered in, and it was a little bit jarring, right? So when you're looking for VR games to be really smooth in an aspect, and the game for the most part was, and I think the graphics are again a 7 out of 10, just a little bit of shortcomings in some areas, but I thought they overall didn't break immersion, and that's the most important thing. And I did enjoy some of the environments I did think were really beautiful in this game. So when it comes to our verdict here, what do I feel about Warhammer Age of Sigmar Tempest Fall? Should you buy this game? I have to say, if this is one that I would wait for a sale on. I'd wait for it to come down to $24.99 until I do a 15 or 20% sale, and I would definitely pick it up. Now, if you're a huge Warhammer fan, or you just love VR adventure games and you're looking for another game to sink 10 hours into, or 10 hours plus into, really just looking for an experience, then go ahead and buy this game. You're going to really enjoy it. I overall did think this was a good game. I think a lot of people are a little too harsh on it. There's definitely a little bit of jankiness at times, but the game, it kept me engaged throughout my entire playthrough. I really enjoyed it. I felt like I wanted to keep playing it. I wish there was more content in the game. With that being said, at a price tag of $30, I think it might be just a tad steep for what they're asking for. But again, it is a good game. It's not like you're going to pay $30 and be like, this is really disappointing. I think you're going to pay $30, and if you're, especially for somebody who's into VR adventure games or a big Warhammer fan, I think you're going to like this game. It gives you a lot of that. But other than that, I definitely think that, if you wait for a sale and you pick this game up at $20 or $24, I think you're definitely going to be happy with your purchase, because you're going to get that time out of it, and you're going to enjoy your playthrough of the game. As far as bugs go in this game, I didn't really run into any major bugs in this game. I mean, occasionally you get some enemies that were like floating up in air, especially in the marsh area. There was a couple times where there were some archers that ended up like walking off the ledge and they were just floating there. Little things like that. You'd come to expect that sometimes in video games, so I'm not going to be too hard on that. But as far as like game crashes and freezes, didn't get any of that stuff. Relatively everything worked pretty smoothly, and I was able to find my way through the environments. I thought the game had a good flow to it, and overall I did enjoy my playthrough. So that would be my best recommendation with this game, is wait for a sale, or if you're a really big adventure games, kind of a little bit of RPG game fan, then maybe you should go ahead and pick this one up. Well, guys, that is it for this video. I hope you guys found this review helpful, and whether you're going to buy this game. I wouldn't necessarily go off the Steam reviews on this one. I think a lot of people are being a little too hard on the game. I did enjoy it, and I think that, some people are expecting, an arm and a leg for some of these games. These developers definitely put a lot of time into this one. You can see it when you're actually in the game, so I don't want to be too hard on them, and I think it's an overall really good game. But make sure you guys do drop a like on this video, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in the next one.